In this video, we're going to have a look at Oracle Learning subscriptions. Specifically, we'll be looking at the content that makes up the courses and also the other features and functions available to support you as you go through your learning. So the first step towards activating your subscription is to book it in. And as soon as Oracle confirm the booking, you'll then receive an activation email. That'll tell you how to set up an account on oracle.com if you don't already have one. Once you're in there, activate your subscription and then log on to your subscription itself via the education.oracle.com website. So we're going to start from the point where you've logged on, you're inside the Oracle Education website. Click through on My Subscriptions and that will take you through to a list of the available subscriptions that you have. You'll notice that you can filter them down by cloud and SaaS, software and hardware, and you can also search through the library to see what was there. We're going to go in and have a look at the eBusiness Suite subscription that we currently have running, and this takes us through to the outline of this course. So at the top bar here you'll see that we can actually search through the content either by title or keyword. There's also a range of filters so we can refine the content down and find the bits and pieces that we're interested in either by product or by role and also by type of course. There are some other bits of functionality of course at the top. We'll come back to some of those towards the end of this session. So within each of the courses there are a number of learning paths. A learning path is a structured content listing that will take you through a course logically one step at a time. We're going to go in and have a look at the eBusiness Financial Management path. Here we are. You can see that there are 272 hours plus of expert training within this learning path, and the thing is broken down into sections, so from fundamentals through development all the way through a number of sections to the bottom, and ultimately the final aim, certification. Now certification is included within your subscription. You'll get one entry to an exam, and exams can either be taken at a specified learning centre, so the Pearson View locations. You'll turn up and you'll be physically invigilated by somebody at the centre, or you can do it remotely, in which case there will be a virtual invigilator who will be remotely watching what you do while you complete the exam. The route you take is entirely up to you. It depends on which suits you best. We're going to go in and have a look at some of the content now. So we're going to start off with the fundamentals, go in and see what that is. And within this, again, a number of sections, and each section broken down into a number of activities. For each activity there will be a video of a presenter detailing the content. You can see there is an overview down here of what's going to be covered, and also a transcript of the video that's being played. In the list of content you can see some of these circles are half filled and some are blank. If it's half filled, that means I've started looking at it but haven't finished. Once I've completed it, it'll get a green tick in to say that I've finished looking at that section. You can still go back to any section once you've viewed it. If you want to refresh your understanding, or if you want to just check back on something as you get further into the course, it's always there for you to get into while you have access to the subscription. So if we talk about the videos for a moment, they're all done in high quality HD. They're all presented by senior members of the Oracle University instruction staff, so you're getting top quality information from the experts in their field. Each of the presentations will contain talking head type presentation stuff. There'll also be standard sort of PowerPoint slides to indicate the content and underline the message, but also live demonstrations in a system showing you exactly how the processes that you've been discussing are configured within eBusiness Suite. One of the other features within the course are skill checks. So these are a simple way for you to check that you've picked up all the relevant information from within the course. They come as a couple of different designs, but fundamentally the idea is the same. You'll get a series of questions either presented to you like this in a full screen environment where you pick the right answer from the list, or sometimes they'll be integrated into the course window itself. But same idea, you pick the right answer and move on through the series of questions. You'll get feedback at the end as to which questions you've got correct, which ones you haven't, so you can go back and review your answers. Other things down on this side, there is a link to the lab section of the course. So within each of the courses, you'll be able to practice the things that you've been shown in the videos. You'll have access to a live system, and then you'll have guided sessions when you can work your way through. You have to book the labs in advance, something like a week in advance, anything up to 3 months in advance, and you then have 6 days to complete the session. You can see that you can basically select any of the weeks that are available there to activate your lab. Once the lab's been set up and your access has been confirmed, you'll get email notification to say that it will be ready, and the details of how to get into it will be given to you. You can see a demonstration of a lab in a separate video within this section of the website, and that'll walk you through the full process of completing the exercise, so you can see the entire thing end to end. Also down here we have some student guides. There are 2 here. One is the PDF copy of the content that you've been shown in the video presentation, so you can use that for review. All the slides are in there and the notes that accompany it. And the other one is the activity guide to support the labs. So this is the student guide. You can see that this is PowerPoint slides and the text that go with them, and you can scroll through. There are also slides highlighting some of the processes that were talked about in the session. The other guide is to support the labs. There are step-by-step guides for each of the processes that you need to complete, along with some guidance notes to make sure that you're on the right track. If you have questions about the content as you're working through, or if you're struggling with one aspect of a lab, you could use the system to send a question in to the course team. The turnaround is between 24 and 48 hours, but you can submit questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the course team will get back to you. I mentioned earlier on in the session that there are some other things up here at the top. What I particularly want to show you is the progress bar. So as you work through the content, you can see there are little indicators to say how much of the content you've accessed within this particular section. If we go through to the progress tab, you'll see that so far we have no certifications, but again, as those are awarded, that will start to complete. You can see there's a list of the certifications down at the bottom, and also for each of the sections that we're registered for, how much progress we're making, how long we've spent studying, and whether we've completed or not. If you need to share your progress with somebody else in your organisation, you have 2 choices. You can either print the page out and take that along to them, or you can email a copy using the buttons at the top of this section. One other thing to show you, if I come to the courses section of the site, I can start to identify other pieces of learning that will build upon my subscription. So I can add other things in as a plan, so that by identifying favourites, for example, I can identify the supplier management piece here. That then becomes part of my favourites and starts to form a rounded view of my training, where I want to go, so that I'm looking at the things in a structured way. So that concludes our introduction to the Oracle Learning subscriptions. Just as a quick summary, we had a look at accessing the OLS and make the point that there is the full range of Oracle products available. So if there's a particular product that you're interested in, there will be a learning subscription to suit your needs. You get a full 12 months from the point of initial access, so if you need to come back and review content at any point during that time, content is always there for you 24 hours a day. We had a quick look at the course content. The presentations are all done in high quality video, delivered by Oracle's own experts within that section, so you're getting the best possible information you can. We looked at the skill checks built in to make sure that you're staying on top of your learning, make sure you're picking up the right points, and also the labs that enable you to practice the things that you've seen. Very important to get that physical activity to embed your understanding of the way the system works. Student guides, again, always available for you in the PDF format. You can download those whenever you wish, and you always have access to the Oracle instructors so that you can get your questions answered. 2 other things that we looked at: the reporting side, so you can see where you're up to, and also your learning plan, so you can start to plan where you're going next, the order that you want to complete your training, make sure that you're following a logical path. So in terms of next steps, if there's anything that you feel we should have covered in more detail in this session, or there are questions that you have, probably the best thing to do is to talk to one of our team about getting a detailed demonstration of the system and really get into the nuts and bolts of how it can answer your training needs. And you can contact us using the details available on this page.